Do you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. night after night, wondering why sleep has become your elusive companion? Are you tired of watching the minutes tick by while the rest of the world sleeps peacefully? Have you started to worry that these sleepless nights are a sign of something more serious happening to your health? If you're nodding along, you're far from alone in this middle-of-the-night struggle. Jack Thompson, a 72-year-old retired high school teacher from Columbus, Ohio, knows this scenario all too well. For the past several months, he's found himself wide awake at 3 a.m. almost like clockwork, regardless of how tired he felt when going to bed. The digital clock on his nightstand has become both a companion and an enemy, silently marking each passing minute as 3:01 becomes 3:02, and sleep remains frustratingly out of reach. "My father used to be so energetic," sighs Mary, Jack's daughter, during a family gathering. "Now he's irritable all the time because he can't sleep through the night. It's like he's becoming a different person. We're all worried about him." What Mary describes isn't unusual. According to recent sleep research, up to 70% of adults over 65 report some form of regular sleep disturbance, with early morning awakening being one of the most common complaints. That 3 a.m. wake-up call has become so prevalent among older adults that sleep specialists have started paying special attention to this phenomenon. But here's the good news. Understanding why this happens is the first step toward reclaiming your nights and improving your days. In the pages that follow, we'll explore not just why your body might be waking you at 3 a.m., but practical, science-backed solutions that have helped people just like Jack rediscover the joy of a good night's sleep. We'll also share the remarkable turnaround that Jack and others have experienced when they discovered the right combination of approaches for their unique situations. Because yes, better sleep is possible at any age. Sleep isn't just a luxury, it's a cornerstone of health, especially as we age. The quality of our sleep directly impacts our cognitive abilities, emotional well-being, physical health, and overall quality of life. When we understand what's happening in our bodies and minds during those early morning hours, we gain the power to make meaningful changes. Let's begin by understanding what's really happening when your eyes pop open at 3 a.m. and why this particular challenge becomes more common as we age. When we talk about sleep changes in older adults, it's important to distinguish between what's a normal part of aging and what might signal a problem requiring attention. As we age, our sleep architecture, the pattern and quality of our sleep, naturally changes. We tend to experience less deep sleep, more frequent awakenings, and a shift toward earlier bedtimes and wake times. These changes alone don't necessarily indicate a problem. However, consistently waking at 3 a.m. and struggling to fall back asleep is different. This pattern often points to specific underlying causes that can be addressed. One of the primary physiological factors behind this 3 a.m. awakening involves changes in our hormonal regulation. Melatonin, often called the sleep hormone, typically decreases with age, affecting both when we feel sleepy and how deeply we sleep. At the same time, cortisol, our stress hormone that helps us wake up, may begin rising earlier in the early morning hours than it did when we were younger. Our circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates our sleep-wake cycle, also tends to shift earlier as we age. This phenomenon, called advanced sleep phase syndrome, might explain why many older adults find themselves ready for bed by 8 p.m. and wide awake at 4 a.m., even when they'd prefer a different schedule. Another significant factor is sleep drive, the biological pressure to sleep that builds the longer we're awake. Older adults often experience a decreased sleep drive, making it harder to stay asleep throughout the night. "Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy," Jack confessed during a family dinner. "I've tried everything. Sleeping pills just leave me groggy the next day. I'm starting to think this is just what getting old means." Jack's frustration reflects a common misconception that poor sleep is an inevitable part of aging that must be accepted. However, beyond the normal age changes, several specific medical conditions can trigger that 3 a.m. awakening. Sleep apnea, which affects nearly 20% of older adults, causes breathing pauses during sleep that often lead to awakenings. Many people with sleep apnea don't realize they have it, experiencing only the symptoms of disturbed sleep rather than recognizing the breathing disruptions themselves. Nocturia, the need to urinate during the night, is another common culprit. As we age, our bodies produce less of the hormone that suppresses urine production during sleep, and prostate issues in men or weakened pelvic floor muscles in women can exacerbate the problem. Chronic pain conditions, including arthritis, back pain, and fibromyalgia, can also disrupt sleep, particularly when pain medication wears off during the night. And many medications commonly prescribed to older adults, including certain blood pressure medications, antidepressants, and bronchodilators, list sleep disruption among their potential side effects. The psychological aspects of sleep disruption shouldn't be overlooked either. Anxiety and rumination, that spiral of repetitive thoughts that seems to accelerate in the quiet, dark hours, can be particularly problematic for older adults facing life transitions, health concerns, or family worries. Depression, which affects approximately 7% of adults over 60, often manifests as early morning awakening, particularly around 3 to 4 a.m., and the unique stressors that accompany retirement, health changes, or loss of loved ones can create sleep-disrupting tension that's difficult to escape. Jack's situation illustrates how these factors can combine. Widowed 2 years ago after 45 years of marriage, he was still adjusting to living alone. His occasional lower back pain tended to flare up at night, and without his teaching schedule to structure his days, his daily routines had become irregular. The real concern with chronic sleep disruption goes beyond just feeling tired. Persistent poor sleep has been linked to concerning health effects, particularly for older adults. Cognitive function and memory consolidation rely heavily on quality sleep, explaining why Jack was finding it harder to concentrate on his beloved crossword puzzles and sometimes forgot appointments. Sleep disruption also impacts our immune system, potentially explaining why Jack seemed to catch every cold that went around. Cardiovascular health suffers too, with poor sleep linked to increased blood pressure and higher risk of heart disease. And the effects on mood can create a vicious cycle, where poor sleep leads to irritability and depression, which further disrupts sleep. Understanding these connections helps explain why addressing sleep problems isn't just about feeling more rested. It's about protecting your overall health and well-being. So what can be done about this 3 a.m. phenomenon? Quite a lot, actually. The key is finding the right approach for your specific situation. The first step is understanding your personal sleep pattern. A simple sleep diary kept for 2 weeks can reveal illuminating patterns. Record when you go to bed, approximately how long it takes to fall asleep, when you wake during the night and for how long, and when you get up in the morning. Also note factors like caffeine consumption, exercise, medications, and stress levels. This self-assessment often reveals surprising connections. Jack, for instance, noticed that his 3 a.m. awakenings were more likely on days when he napped in the afternoon and less frequent when he spent time outdoors. When reviewing your sleep diary, look for patterns that might suggest when to seek medical help. Symptoms like loud snoring, gasping for breath, extreme daytime sleepiness, or waking with headaches warrant a conversation with your doctor, as they may indicate sleep apnea or another medical condition requiring treatment. For many older adults, adjusting the sleep environment can yield significant improvements. Our sensitivity to environmental disturbances often increases with age, making previously tolerable conditions suddenly problematic. The ideal bedroom temperature for sleep tends to be cooler than many people expect, between 60 to 67 DGF for most adults. This drop in temperature helps trigger your body's sleep response. Jack found that turning his thermostat down to 65 DGF at night measurably improved his sleep quality. Light control is equally important. Even small amounts of light can suppress melatonin production. Room darkening shades or a comfortable sleep mask can help, along with minimizing exposure to screens at least an hour before bedtime. When Jack installed blackout curtains and switched from reading on his tablet to reading physical books before bed, he noticed he fell asleep more easily. Noise sensitivity often increases with age, making previously unnoticed sounds suddenly disruptive. White noise machines or fans can help mask intermittent noises, and earplugs designed for sleep can be effective if comfortable. Bed comfort deserves special attention for aging bodies. Mattresses and pillows that provided adequate support in your younger years might not accommodate the changing needs of your body. Mattresses with proper support for pressure points, especially hips and shoulders, can reduce pain awakenings. Jack's investment in a new medium-firm mattress and contoured pillow helped reduce his nighttime back pain. Technology can be both friend and foe when it comes to sleep. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and computers can interfere with melatonin production. Using night mode on devices or wearing blue light blocking glasses in the evening can help minimize this effect. However, technology can also offer solutions. Several sleep tracking devices and apps are designed with older adults in mind, providing insights without requiring technical expertise. Jack started using a simple under-mattress sleep tracker that connected to an easy-to-read app, helping him identify which lifestyle changes were actually improving his sleep. Speaking of lifestyle, what we do during the day significantly impacts how we sleep at night. Regular physical activity, appropriate to your fitness level, has been consistently shown to improve sleep quality in older adults. The key is timing. Exercise earlier in the day tends to promote sleep, while activity too close to bedtime can be stimulating for some people. Jack began taking 30-minute walks in the morning and joined a gentle yoga class at his local senior center twice a week. Within 3 weeks, he noticed he was falling asleep more quickly, and while he still sometimes woke around 3 a.m., he found it easier to drift back to sleep. Sunlight exposure, particularly in the morning, helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Spending at least 30 minutes outdoors in natural light each day, without sunglasses when possible and safe, helps reinforce your body's natural wake-sleep cycle. Jack made it a point to have his morning coffee on his porch instead of at his kitchen table, creating a simple but effective new habit. Social engagement also plays a surprising role in sleep quality. Research shows that meaningful social connections can reduce stress and promote healthier sleep patterns. After joining a book club at his local library, Jack found that the mental stimulation and social interaction on those days seemed to improve his sleep the following night. Your evening routine can be particularly influential in preparing your body for sleep. Creating consistent pre-sleep rituals signals to your brain that it's time to wind down. For Jack, this meant a warm shower, 20 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of deep breathing exercises. The timing of meals and drinks requires special attention. Heavy meals within 3 hours of bedtime can disrupt sleep, as can alcohol and caffeine. While a glass of wine might help you fall asleep initially, alcohol actually disrupts your sleep cycles later in the night. Jack found that moving his evening glass of wine to dinner time rather than bedtime helped reduce his middle-of-the-night awakenings. Hydration requires a delicate balance, drinking enough during the day to stay properly hydrated, but tapering off in the evening to minimize nighttime bathroom trips. Jack adopted the habit of drinking most of his fluids before 6 p.m. Relaxation techniques specifically effective for older adults include progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, and gentle stretching. Jack found particular benefit from a meditation app designed for seniors, with options for shorter sessions and voices he found soothing rather than irritating. Maintaining a consistent sleep-wake schedule, even on weekends, helps reinforce your body's natural rhythm. While it might be tempting to sleep in after a poor night's sleep, this can actually make the problem worse by shifting your sleep schedule. Jack committed to getting up at 6:30 a.m. regardless of how he'd slept, which initially felt counterintuitive but gradually helped stabilize his sleep pattern. Nutrition plays a more significant role in sleep than many people realize. Certain foods can promote sleep by supporting the production of sleep-regulating hormones. Foods rich in magnesium, like leafy greens, nuts, and whole grains, tryptophan, found in turkey, chicken, and dairy, and complex carbohydrates can support better sleep. Conversely, foods high in sugar, spicy foods, and highly processed foods have been linked to poorer sleep quality. Jack worked with a nutritionist to develop an eating plan that included sleep-supporting foods, particularly for his evening meals. Several supplements have shown promise for improving sleep in older adults, though it's essential to discuss any supplements with your healthcare provider before starting them. Melatonin, the most widely studied sleep supplement, can be effective for some older adults, particularly when used in lower doses, 0.5, 0.1, than typically sold over the counter. Magnesium supplements may help improve sleep quality, especially for those with deficiencies. Valerian root and L-theanine found in green tea have also shown modest benefits for some people. Jack's doctor recommended a low-dose melatonin, 0.5 milligrams, taken 90 minutes before his target bedtime, which helped reset his sleep cycle when combined with his other lifestyle changes. When self-help strategies aren't sufficient, medical approaches become important to consider. Jack initially resisted seeking medical help, believing his sleep problems were just part of getting older. However, at his daughter Mary's urging, he eventually consulted a sleep specialist. A sleep study revealed that Jack had mild sleep apnea, contributing to his nighttime awakenings. While the standard treatment, a CPAP machine, didn't appeal to him, his doctor suggested a dental appliance designed to keep his airway open during sleep. This less intrusive option, combined with his other lifestyle changes, made a significant difference. Sleep medications are sometimes prescribed for older adults with persistent insomnia, but they come with particular risks for this age group, including increased fall risk and potential cognitive effects. When medications are necessary, newer options with fewer side effects and shorter half-lives are typically preferred, and they're generally recommended for short-term use while addressing underlying causes. Jack's journey toward better sleep wasn't an overnight transformation. It took several months of consistent effort, trying different approaches and fine-tuning what worked best for him. His 3 a.m. awakenings didn't disappear entirely, but they became less frequent and, importantly, less distressing. "I used to panic when I woke up in the middle of the night," Jack explains. "That anxiety would keep me awake for hours. Now I understand that brief awakenings are normal, and I have tools to help me get back to sleep without getting worked up about it." Jack's combination of evening walks, bedroom temperature adjustment, consistent wake time, and the dental appliance for his sleep apnea created a personalized approach that worked for him. While he occasionally still has restless nights, they no longer define his life or dominate his thoughts. Research supports the effectiveness of this multifaceted approach. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults who implemented a combination of sleep hygiene practices, regular physical activity, and light therapy experienced a 30% reduction in nighttime awakenings and reported improved daytime functioning. Dr. Elena Martinez, a geriatric sleep specialist at Northwestern University, explains, "What works for one person may not work for another. The key is to address the specific factors disrupting each individual's sleep rather than assuming all sleep problems have the same solution." Jack's experience isn't unique. Consider Martha, a 68-year-old former accountant, who discovered her 3 a.m. awakenings were linked to acid reflux. Elevating the head of her bed and avoiding late evening meals dramatically improved her sleep. Or Robert, 74, whose nighttime anxiety responded well to a combination of evening mindfulness practice and joining a support group for widowers. His sleep diary revealed that social days resulted in better sleep than isolated days, prompting him to increase his community involvement. "My dad is back to his old self," Mary shared 6 months after Jack began his sleep improvement journey. "He still wakes up sometimes, but now he knows how to handle it and get back to sleep. His mood is better, he's enjoying his hobbies again, and he's not constantly talking about being tired." The benefits of improved sleep extend far beyond just feeling more rested. Better sleep is associated with improved cognitive function, reduced risk of falls, better immune function, improved mood, and even longer lifespan. For Jack, the cognitive benefits were particularly noticeable. His crossword puzzles became enjoyable again rather than frustrating, and his grandchildren commented on how much more engaged he seemed during their visits. The journey to better sleep doesn't require massive life overhauls. Often the most effective approach is to start small with one manageable change that feels achievable. Perhaps begin with creating a consistent wake-up time, even on weekends, or introducing a 20-minute morning walk into your routine. When Jack was feeling overwhelmed by all the potential changes he could make, his sleep specialist advised him to choose just one to focus on for the first week. He chose morning sunlight exposure, which was free, required no special equipment, and gave him an excuse to enjoy his porch more often. This initial success gave him the confidence to gradually incorporate other changes. Tracking your progress helps maintain motivation and identify what's working. A simple notation in a calendar or journal about sleep quality each morning can reveal patterns and improvements that might otherwise go unnoticed. Jack used a simple 1 to 5 scale to rate his sleep each morning, watching with satisfaction as his weekly averages gradually improved. Be patient with the process. Meaningful sleep improvements typically take 2 to 4 weeks to become established, and you may experience ups and downs along the way. Jack had nearly given up after 3 weeks of mixed results, but by week 5, the positive changes became more consistent. Involving your support system can make a significant difference in maintaining your sleep improvement efforts. Share your goals with family members or friends who can provide encouragement and understanding. Jack's daughter Mary helped by scheduling family gatherings earlier in the day and checking in about his sleep routine without judgment. Don't hesitate to seek professional help if self-help strategies aren't sufficient. If you've tried multiple approaches for several weeks without improvement, or if you experience symptoms like loud snoring, gasping during sleep, or extreme daytime sleepiness, consult your healthcare provider. They may refer you to a sleep specialist who can offer targeted interventions based on your specific situation. After his success, Jack created what he calls his sleep rescue plan that he now shares with friends facing similar challenges. Think of it as your personal roadmap to better sleep, he explains, pulling out a well-worn nut card from his wallet. It begins with an evening wind-down. Establish a consistent bedtime, create a calming pre-sleep ritual, and banish those screens at least an hour before your head hits the pillow. Jack also emphasizes creating what he calls a sleep sanctuary in your bedroom, a cool, dark, quiet space with a supportive mattress and pillows that actually work for your body, not against it. I never realized how much my old mattress was hurting my back until I got a new one, he admits. Jack's daytime habits prove just as crucial. He makes a point of catching morning sunlight on his porch, stays physically active with walks in his beloved gardening, and maintains his weekly card games and book club for both mental stimulation and social connection. He's also quick to point out warning signs that warrant medical attention. Having learned from experience, if your partner complains about your loud snoring or notices you gasping during sleep, or if you're fighting to stay awake during your favorite activities, it's time to see a doctor. Jack keeps the National Sleep Foundation website bookmarked on his computer and maintains a good relationship with his sleep specialist, resources he wishes he'd turned to years earlier. These simple changes, he says, tapping his note card, gave me back my nights and transformed my days. Remember that better sleep is possible at any age. The 3 a.m. wake-up call doesn't have to be your new normal, and addressing it can improve not just your nights, but your days as well. The quality of your sleep directly impacts your ability to enjoy your retirement years, maintain your independence, and engage fully with the people and activities you love. As Jack discovered, taking charge of your sleep means taking charge of your well-being. I wish I hadn't wasted so much time assuming this was just what getting older meant, he reflects. I could have been sleeping better years ago if I'd known what I know now. Your journey to better sleep begins with understanding that those 3 a.m. awakenings aren't simply an inevitable part of aging. They're often signals from your body that something needs attention. By listening to those signals and responding with thoughtful adjustments to your lifestyle and environment, you can rediscover the joy of waking up refreshed, ready to embrace each new day. Is tonight the night you take the first step toward better sleep? Your future self will thank you.